We are here today on this lovely day, October 2024. Jim and I are going to talk a little bit at Pietrek Park, which is where we are, about the history and some of the things that are going on here, some of the new things. So Jim did a lot of research, so why don't you start out where the land from Pietrek Park?
In Trempealeau County, I says, you know, we've got a state park, we've got city parks, and county. So I said, here we're in Pietrek, a little kind of a gem just outside of Arcadia, donated to the county here, and named after Pietrek's son. Now, this park originally, the land that it's built on here, belonged to Henry Ketchum. Henry got this thing 1873. And his neighbor right across the road at the corner of Lewis Valley and Highway 93 over there was Andrew Pietrek. Andrew settled in 1868. And Andrew's son, Valentine, ended up buying this property, but he did not buy it from Ketchum, he bought it from Pawson. Pawson, Andrew Pawson had got it from Ketchum, and Andrew's dad, Joe, lived over at Pickup Valley and North Creek Road, about 2 miles over the hill here. But anyhow, he sold it then to Valentine. And Valentine and his wife Barbara farmed here for many years, and when they got up in the retirement age, they moved to the city of Arcadia. And one of their older sons, Valentine and his wife had, I believe it was 6 boys and 5 girls.
Yeah, they had a big family.
Vice versa. Bob, one of the older boys, was a trustee. And as a trustee, he assigned the farm, sold it to one of the younger ones, Joe Pietrek Sr. And part of the land contract for them to buy the farm, Joe had to supply the firewood for Valentine and the missus, he said, in Arcadia for the winters, and 2 pounds of processed pork every year.
How many pounds?
200 pounds.
I was going to say, 2 pounds of pork.
Even I was thinking 2 pounds seems kind of cheap.
Yeah.
200 pounds of processed pork every year for as long as either one of them was alive.
You mean like pork sausage?
It was processed. It doesn't say how it was processed, but it was done. So basically, I said, and that was part of the land deal. And Joe and Emily then took over the family farm over in the corner of Lewis Valley here by the creek. And they farmed there many years, and they only had one son, Joe Jr. And Joe went to Arcadia High School. And he says after high school, he got fan mail from the U.S. government, and then he went 2 years in Korea. And after he got to Korea, he said he wanted to kind of advance in life, and he decided he went to River Falls University. Got himself a degree in agricultural science. And from there, he went down to Madison. He got a master's degree. He came back, and he was a 4-H director here in the county for many years. He was an associate teacher for UWL in Madison, and he was a member of the Knights of Columbus. Time went on, and Joe moved up, and he got a job up in Clark County as a 4-H director. And everybody liked him here in the county, hated to see him go, but life goes on, and I said he moved on and went on. And his folks had asked him if he was interested in a farm or anything like that, and he says no, he had kind of chosen his career already. But he did tell him, he says, save me 40 acres, maybe by the river. He says, so when I retire, I'll have a place to build a little home and maybe, he says, enjoy my retirement years. But he says, keep the rest of the money, he says, for yourselves. So that's the way they left it. Well, then Joe got a chance to be promoted to Price County. And it was going to be in January, but in December, 10th of December, 1970, he was in a car accident. And Joe and...
There was another fellow.
From Withee, Wisconsin. They both were killed in this accident. And Emily and Joe Sr. thought, well, what we could do in memory of our son and his 4-H projects is donate 100 acres to the county here and have it in memory of our son.
That's really generous, 100 acres.
That's how the county ended up with Pietrek Park.
Yeah.
Well, wheels of progress go a little slow, but that was in August of 71. And then 72, the county was able to get permission to get access across the railroad tracks, because you just couldn't come driving in here anytime you felt like it as a public access. So they had to get some permits and whatever else. And part of the agreement was there, the county had to improve the approach into the park. They had to hard surface it. They had to take care of all the drainage. They had to remove the brush and overgrowth for 330 feet on each side of the drainage. They had to approve all the stop signs and the railroad crossing signs and such, and reimburse the railroad $500 for expenses that they had already put into that crossing. So they had that done. Then they also had applied for a federal grant, and with the grant money they got, they were able to do fencing, underground wiring. They got in a well system here with some plumbing put in and some parking. And the park started off with 6 little posts in the ground here and a little roof on top, and volunteer work. And people came from all over, and different organizations pitched in different money, and they come and helped. There was one group by the Farmers Union called the Green Thumb
I remember
program.
that.
They came in here, and you had to be a minimum of 55 years old, preferably over 65.
Yeah, it was older people. Yeah.
And I said they came and did a lot of the land clearing, a lot of the extra work here to help develop the park. They also painted the town hall in Arcadia in 1974, these older people. So the park,
Imagine that, older people
they can still do something. Their rotors weren't totally shot yet. But I said the park slowly has been developing, and over the years I said they've added on this and that. And I said the VFW used to be right up the road. Richard Corporal used to have Club 93.
Sure.
And Richard and Marie were big supporters of the park, and he was the head of the VFW commander for a number of years. He donated in the early years to help the park. I said the veterans have even put a bench here in front of the center, I says, for remembrance of Richard and Marie and their support of the park. So over the years, I said the park is growing from just 4 little posts in the ground to hiking and swimming and
you
fishing.
said 6 posts.
Oh, 6. Well, there was maybe it started with 4 at one time. But either way, I said it started out from a little building, and that building's been improved on. It's been added on to. The hiking trails have been put in. There's been fishing areas. They're thinking now of doing some other developments in here, and we've got a man right here that's going to tell us a little bit about some of those developments.
And wasn't it first it was mainly being used for 4-H?
4-H was the main concern, because that's where I says Joe Pietrek was a real good leader. There's still people around that worked in 4-H under Joe.
Yeah.
Students.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of getting up there in age. They might even be older than us.
Well, introduce us here. Tell us who you are.
Yeah. So I'm Jack Haye. I'm the Park and Rec Coordinator for Trempealeau County. And Jim did a great job of kind of giving us some history about some of the older things that happened in the history of the park and how things came to be. So I always liked hearing stuff like that, so I appreciate it, Jim, because it's new to me too. But some of these new initiatives are all kind of doing what we can to build a better life for people here in Trempealeau County, and the same thing that comes with building parks and making sure that they're great outdoor recreation convenience for these residents of the county and even visitors. We want to start, bringing as many people to this park as we can, and we have had a few things that have started, like we had a rodeo event where we have a large Hispanic community here in the county, and they had a local music and rodeo event. So it's like things like that. What's our niche, and what can we do to improve outdoor recreation here at Pietrek Park in Trempealeau County overall?
Okay, now the building that is right behind us, tell us about that.
Yep. So that's the Claw Shelter. That can be rented for family gatherings, graduation parties, any type of gathering of sort. We do have volunteer groups that get the shelter for free. So if you ever want to do some work out at Pietrek Park, we're still doing some of that, where we have volunteers come out and help us, because it's just me and a couple groundskeepers that do a very good job. But we need as much help and support as we can. But about $216 to rent it. We're doing online rentals now. It does kind of help keep our books a little bit straighter. And we do that through CampSpot. So basically it's $216 to rent the shelter, security deposit of $250, and basically you get that security deposit back as long as you keep the shelter clean.
So why don't we just walk around the corner here and take a look at the cloth shelter and see exactly what it looks like. It's pretty good size, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good size, about 1,400 to 1,500 square feet in total. And then we did recently install some fans in here. So next summer, if you're wanting to rent the shelter on a hot day, you can flip the switch of the fans, and maybe we can do that right now. See if they turn on.
Okay. Whoa, it's a little windy here today. Oh, you've got like a little kitchen here, don't you?
So yeah, here's our new fans and our kitchen. It's a very nice space. So basically, this one must be turned off. Flip that switch.
Oh, I
and
see,
it'll turn
yeah.
on.
There we go.
So that'll be nice for the summer.
Yeah.
An electrical upgrade to be able to host more people for these gatherings. So Slobby came in and did excellent work to do an electric panel upgrade and as well as a fan installation. So that's where those are coming.
I see here we have pictures of Joe
Yeah.
Pietrek Jr. and Joe Sr. and Emily.
Yeah, Joel. Like you guys had said, this park was established in 1971, and Joe had a lot of 4-H values, and we're still trying to keep those values into our new upgrades. Something that we'll be maybe touching on later is we're looking into doing a natural play area with an educational trail loop. So we want to keep that main thing of Joe's idea of this park being for the youth and having 4-H values.
Also see there's a picture here of
Yeah.
Lee Brett. Lee was a member of the VFW club, I said, many years ago, and I said, Lee, if you gave him 2 pieces of wood and a hammer, he could make something out of it. So I'm not surprised to see his picture in here because he was willing to step forward and help build things and work on things in the community. It wasn't just there in the park. So
Absolutely.
a lot of the veterans have stepped up and helped, and different individuals also. We're not belittling anybody. I belittling anybody.
Right, yep, and just honoring our veterans and this time that they served.
Just people
is
that have
something
done
that I want to continue to look into. If there's a possible idea, I had to have some bricks around our flagpole, and that might be a great idea for memorial. So we are looking for something like a Friends of group, because if you have all these ideas, you kind of need to get a group together to help you with them. So that is something. Friends of group is what we're looking to do, and then. But we did pass the idea off to the Veterans Service Office, so we'll see if that comes to be, because I'd like to see some memorial bricks around that flagpole and maybe an upgraded flagpole.
And then like with Ashley for the Arts, you know, the parking down here seems to be more than inadequate. You know, we're kind of short for parking here, but I said that the park is loaded by itself with people that come here because of Ashley for the arts. So I says, it's good to see the park is kind of thinking of maybe expanding the parking a little bit.
Yeah, yep. So the parking, for Ashley, they open up that field basically, and basically we'll have as many cars as they can fit in. From what I saw, there wasn't, like, they were able to fit into the lot pretty good. But things around the park, campsites in particular, and just filling up for the Ashley weekend is a huge part of our campground revenue. And we'll continue to plan for full capacity for that weekend so we can handle future,
Because I said it's so convenient right here, so close to town. You know, it's really nice to have a park here this close in the county.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we should also mention that Donnie Kloss, who this building is like dedicated to, or however you want to say it, he was a very good personal friend of my husband and I. And Donnie's wife Marie just passed away recently, but Donnie was on the Parks and Rec committee for a long time, I believe. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and really cared about it. And he was a Navy veteran.
Okay. Like I said before, we respect our veteran service, and whatever we can do, connect the veterans and the park somehow. I don't know if that's something that's been looked into before, but there is some memorials that you kind of see some stations of. Maybe we have that overarching idea of bricks,
Yeah.
for some type of collaboration. It's something I'd be excited about if we got through.
Out here in the nature center, in the nature garden here, there's a memorial plaque on this one stone out here, and it's a person doesn't know it's out there. It's in there.
Yeah,
So
I think that's to Donnie.
that one's for Donnie, yeah. So
Yeah.
I said the park does recognize the people that help here, and it's the footings that you need to get a business or any organization started. And it takes certain individuals to step forward, like the Pietreks and different individuals, to get things rolling. And once it starts, it usually takes off. So great place to park.
Yeah.
Let's go and look at a few more things outside.
Let's go look at that bell that Jim and I were just looking at. I think that was,
Yes, I noticed there's a bell here
Yeah.
in honor of Ray Shanklin.
yes. And I remember Ray Shanklin real well. He was the 4-H agent in this county for many years.
And it's got conflicting interests as soon as I and Nancy looked at it. We've been just doing bells here the other day.
Right, and I think it had something to do with ringing the bell, calling in the food, from what I've heard.
But do you know where the bell came from?
I do not.
It doesn't
I have
say.
read this a couple times, and
It doesn't say.
maybe that's something that we look to, providing a little bit more context.
Yeah.
Well, there's a 2-year or 3-year variance on just the dating on the bell and the yoke through it. So I says, you got a big project ahead of you to
The
figure
mystery
that out.
bell again.
But it's nice to see that it's here in honor of Ray. I said he did a lot of work for the community, and I said 4-H is a tremendous organization. I said for the youth of the community. I said maybe not as big and strong as it used to be because there's not as many farmers. But
Not as many kids either.
Right, and I know the UW Extension does do a good job for those that do
for
want to
promoting
participate.
it. Yeah. So I said, well, we're glad to see it because I said, we're still a rural community out here, and I said, farming still is the goddamn income for the majority of the people. So I'm sure glad to see there's some memorial remembering the people that kind of helped get things started.
Yep. Whatever we do with outdoor recreation, we'll come to find out. But I know that Trempealeau River Water Trail is going to be a big part of that.
There's hiking and fishing here, and kids go swimming here yet in the river, and boating now. I said they're still with canoes and such, So I said it's going to be a ongoing project. There's no doubt about that,
There's so much in outdoor recreation, and anyone can find pretty much a leisure activity that fits them. And that's why it's such a good thing to look into, because there's a lot of opportunities, and people move to areas because of outdoor recreation. So,
and there's one more building over here we should maybe take a quick glance at.
And as we're walking over there, we should talk about, we have hiking trails here, correct?
Yeah. Yep. There is some hiking trails. They're predominantly in the southern part of the county right now with Brady's Bluff and Decorah's Peak. But again, outdoor recreation is a big driver in Wisconsin nowadays, and we may be looking into more opportunities for those more hiking trails and maybe the northern part of the county.
There's like 20 species of trees here in the park. I said there was a biologist looked at it at one time. So I said it's really a little treasure here right in the middle of the county.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now what is this building, Jack?
So this is our restroom facility. We got a men's and women's
and the
restrooms,
shower.
obviously, and the showers. We'll keep the water to our restroom facility open until about mid-November.
Oh, that's pretty good then.
Yeah. Yep. And park is open year-round now, and
they've had
campground closes.
They've had like 3 rodeos here now
end
this
of
summer.
November. Yep. So we had one in August, September, and October. It was RR Bayless y Hermanos. I don't know how to say it exactly. I should figure it out. But they had 3 great events and about 600 people per. So 1,800 people. Great event for the park. It was a big event, so there was some stuff that we had to, progressively figure out as it went. But I think we have a plan.
Good handle on it, yes.
A plan for next year, which is exciting.
So how many camping spaces are there here?
Yeah, so we've got maybe we want to walk just a little bit over here. We've got a new entrance sign that we put up over here. Like I said before, we are trying to go more online to keep records a little bit more straighter on our side of things when you're looking at a computer in the office. So being able to see everything on a computer. Campground closes in November, and then it opens back up in April. We are trying to go more online, so if you get to the park and you're looking to, what do I do to register?
The QR code, yeah.
Scan that QR code if you don't already have a CampSpot account and know how to get there. We'll probably try to voice that a little bit better next year, so when people are coming in, there's less questions.
And now, if you get a camping space here, you get electricity, or what do you get?
So basically we have 1 through 19 goes along this loop here, and you get water and electricity hookups.
Wow.
And then 20 through 35 are just electric only right now, but we are looking into a water line and septic upgrade for 2025 and trying to add water to those sites 20 through 35. So we have 35 sites with water and electric hookups.
That'd really be nice. I said, it's so convenient, I said, to have those extra necessities.
Yes, and we do have 19, and those are our most popular sites. So it's how can we make more money with our most popular things for the county, and that is sites 1 through 19 and our shelter. So making improvements to those things are a big priority.
Now, did you get more land here? Is this?
Yeah, so this will be a development, hopefully by 2026. The first shovel will go down in the ground. Yep.
Yeah.
Tom Shank was nice enough to deed this to the county in 2021, and it is going to be our planned project site for a natural play area and an educational trail loop.
So what do you mean by a natural play area?
So natural play is things that are like in the environment that you see, or just even the things that you see around here. It can be like a twisty log, rock climbing, things like that you can add into somewhat of a loop where we can make accommodations to fit all ages.
And that's a pretty good chunk of land, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. And this trail would probably loop around this piece of land, and there would be things like a rock climbing wall, a water feature, and then maybe a main play amenity right in the middle that everything revolves around. So it's going to be a real driver to, have families see that when they're going past the highway, and big, nice natural play area that can be seen. And once we get that in, do our camping upgrades, this park has a chance to take off.
And now, do you have a playground here now? Do you have?
So we did have this playground that was installed about 10 to 15 years ago back there, and that's more of a top playground, and we do see a lot of use from ages about 5 all the way up to 12 to 13. Our 6th grade camp out for Whitehall, I've seen them use that playground a ton, and that would probably stay, but there is some safety concerns on there that I would like to deal with.
And now, if people are coming down the Trempealeau River here, do you have a boat landing or anything?
Yeah, so we will have a dock that we're working on. It's actually being housed at the highway department right now. We got a price break for making a purchase this year, and in the spring we're going to do an installation on a floating dock from a company outside of Milwaukee called Modudock. And it will be an accessible dock. And I believe Colonel Larson and Whitehall, the Whitehall Lions, they will be doing an accessible dock as well. So we will have 2 ports of accessibility on the Trempealeau River, which is a very huge thing, something I'm excited about.
So you're saying they could put in their canoe up at Whitehall and come down here?
Yeah, basically somebody that is in a wheelchair could potentially get in Whitehall, and if they had some assistance, go down the river, or potentially just do it themselves.
Are there any other projects that you want to point out? Anything that else you're going to be working on or adding?
There is quite a few projects. It's kind of hard to keep them all straight sometimes, but
Like
just
most, I suspect, finance is probably the biggest project to keep everything going. It's
it's
wish
just
list
getting
is pretty long.
things, getting things kind of aligned and seeing what's attainable is really the main goals here. We've got plans for the next 3 years of what we want to do. Basically, we just got to be smart with our budget and how we're doing them.
Well, as long as the people support the park, I says, I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot of them accomplished, because I says, when you come through here in the summertime, I says, right now it's a little slow, it's toward fall, but there's always seems to be people camping here at Pietrek's, because I says it's where it's located in the county, and Memorial Park is right close by, and you're centralized. You can go all over and still get back for the evenings, you know. So it's really nice to have this little piece of land here from the Pietrek family.
Absolutely, Jim. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you. And there is a chance to, you know, make some very great upgrades to help improve just the camping aspect, because we would like to get those numbers up a little bit.
Well, that's great. It's nice to see it's really getting used a lot. Because,
well, do you have a website or something for people to kind of book their stuff online, just besides QR here?
So yeah, this QR code will take you to CampSpot, is what it's called. CampSpot is basically what we use for our online registration, and go in there, make an account for yourself, and then you can see what's available here in the campground.
And which weekends.
And which weekends.
Okay.
So basically, we're going to go everything through here. So if you don't have an account in CampSpot already, make sure you get one for these new amenity upgrades, hopefully in the next couple of years.
And this building, I believe, was constructed in 2000, right? According to the donation plaque here.
Yep, 2000, 2001.
And I said, we did this bench here for Richard and them, and I said, it's been holding out. It's well built, I said, and the people in the park, I hope they got to utilize it and realize, I said, why they're sitting on it. Because we don't have these foundation people to start building the parks, and whatever organization it is, you're done. I said, you got to have some people that step up and kind of help you out and get started. And I think that's just about where we're standing again today.
Yeah.
I said,
absolutely.
try to get a little life back into these parks, because like I said, right now it's busy, but there's still a chance, I said, that there's always openings in the park. Check in if you can and try to get online. You want to do a little camping in Trempealeau County? Don't be afraid to check and stop by and visit some of the local towns and organizations and enjoy the scenery.